Hey everybody, and welcome back to Insurance Runs, brought to you by our good friends at State Farm, and only right here on opensports.com. As always, I'm your host, Sid Rosenberg. Now today we're going to have a little fun and present some awards for the past week with John Barten of the Hardball Times. John, how are you this afternoon, buddy?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. We're going to go right to the offensive awards, and some of these are very offensive, by the way. Let's start with one of my favorite players of all time, former New York Yankee and Kansas City Royal, the great Steve Balboni Award, presented to the guy whose value was taken away by his prolific ability to strike out. Balboni, who of course spent most of his career in the 80s, like I said, with the Royals and the Yankees, had 181 career homers, but his lifetime average, a paltry 229. The Steve Balboni Award goes to
Chris Davis of the Rangers. The guy struck out 100 times in 219 at-bats. He has some things going for him in that he has plenty of home run power, but the strikeouts are just a little bit too much at this point, and they're pulling down his batting average, and his walk rate and power just won't pull it back up to get his value up high enough for him to be a positive player.
Very good choice. Chris Davis has his 17 homers and 55 ribbies, but hitting just 194 with 88 strikeouts. On the flip side now, John, we have the Harmon Killebrew Award. This goes to the guy who overcomes a bad batting average to have positive value. And the winner is
Carlos Pena. He actually does walk enough, and he does hit for enough home runs to actually counteract that. The Killebrew and the Balboni, and also the Three True Outcomes Award, which also goes to Carlos Pena, all kind of work together in that all three of them are very Three True Outcomes centric. And the strikeouts in the Three True Outcomes really are where you get the low batting average, but the walks and the home runs are what pulls your value up. It makes you a positive player, or if you fall short, makes you a negative net outcome there. But Pena himself, he's in the top 6 in all Three True Outcomes categories in the entire Major League Baseball.
Just had a really good weekend for Tampa Bay against the Mets as well, Carlos Pena. 22 homers, over 50 RBIs, and an OPS of nearly 1,000. Let's move to the next award here, John. It's the Joe Carter Award. That goes to the guy with the biggest disparity between actual value and the RBI total. The Joe Carter Award, and the winner is
James Loney, first baseman of the Dodgers, of course. It's a great thing to hit in the middle of the Dodger batting order this year because you get plenty of opportunities to drive runs in. Right now, he's only slugging .383, but he has two more RBIs than Nelson Cruz, Adrian Gonzalez, and Chase Utley. Utley's a legitimate MVP candidate this year as a second baseman who's slugging .547 plus great D. But Adrian Gonzalez, he has 23 home runs. Nelson Cruz has 18. Loney, he's slugging less than 400.
But yet has knocked in 47 runs, so he's done a good job here for the Dodgers, like you said, as a run producer. 279 average, 726 on the OPS with 4 homers and 47 RBI. Now, not least, I should say, on the hitting side, you've got Vladimir Guerrero, and Vladimir Guerrero is hosting the Ray Sanchez Trophy. It has been a rough go so far, John, for Vlad out with the Angels.
Right. The Ray Sanchez Trophy actually is the guy who is hitting for a good average, but he isn't doing anything else, and it's just an empty batting average. Right now, he's hitting 300, but with very little power, very few walks. He's never walked a whole lot, but also the defense has to come into play here because the injuries have really soaked his defensive value.
Is he a guy you think that's done? Because lots of people are wondering whether or not Vladimir Guerrero, really not that long ago, one of the most prolific offensive players in baseball, will get that back. Do you think Guerrero is well past his prime?
I would hope not. Basically, you're hopeful that this is more of a health issue than a deterioration in his skills. He was pretty good last year. He wasn't great last year, but he was pretty good.
All right, fair enough. Now let's take it from the offense to the mound here, John, for the good luck versus the bad luck awards. These are pitchers now. Let's start with the good luck winners, and we go to Minnesota, where Slowey's having a big year, right?
Yeah, Kevin Slowey, he's been pretty good. I mean, he has a 4 ERA, but really he shouldn't be 10-2 which is where he's at. He has two more wins than Zach Greinke, who probably is the Cy Young winner in the AL up to this point. But Slowey's been the same exact guy as he was last year, with pretty much the same ERA, walk rate, strikeout rate, and home run rate. But he's getting 8 runs of support, which is the reason why he's 10-2 this year instead of where last year he was significantly. He was 12-11.
Gotcha. Halfway to a 20-win season because he's gotten some good run production. Now on the flip side, the bad luck side, you got a guy in Cleveland who won the Cy Young last year, who's really not getting a lot of wins so far this year. Right.
Well, he was 22-3 last year, but this year he's just like Slowey. He has just about the same ERA, walk rate, strikeout rate, home run rate allowed. He has an ERA under 2, but he's 4-6, and he's had a loss or a no decision in 7 quality starts.
That is bad luck for Cliff Lee, for the Cleveland Indians, no doubt about it. Let's go to the Pitching Vulture Award. I like this award, John. The Pitching Vulture Award, and the winner, again, in Los Angeles. Talk about Broxton.
Everybody gets frustrated with win vultures, and, you know, everybody who's played in a fantasy league has just been killed by somebody who, you know, blew a save and then ended up getting the win. Jonathan Broxton actually has been really good this year, but he's blown 2 saves, and he's gotten the win in both of them because the LA offense is so good that they came back and they handed him a win. Really, he hasn't been, I can't gripe about him too much, but he's just had a couple of cheap wins this year.
Yeah, LA offense been so good. Amazing you're saying that when Manny Ramirez spends 50 games on the bench. Last one here, John, the Wes Littleton Award, named after the guy who got a save in a 30-3 Rangers win over Baltimore back in 2007. Just pitched enough innings. Who is the award right now for the Wes Littleton Award? Who's the winner?
Brian Flippin. He's actually had 3 saves where he only retired 1 or 2 batters. And over at Fangraphs, they have a great stat called win probability added. And so far, they have him only adding half a win to the Angels' season.
That's not much. That's an amazing stat. John, this was terrific. A lot of fun. All the great awards given out here. John, thanks so much for stopping by. We'll talk again after the All-Star break. Thank you so much.
No problem.
You got it, man. Check out John's awards column each and every week. Updates it every single week at hardballtimes.com. That's going to do it for this edition of Insurance Runs, brought to you by our good friends at State Farm, only right here at opensports.com. I'm your host, Sid Rosenberg. Be sure to come back on Wednesday for Fantasy Whiplash with Jeff Erickson of RotoWire. Until then, enjoy the baseball. The future of sports on the web is open.